All right, everybody, welcome to your coverage of the UFC Orlando post-fight press conference. First of our two-part post-fight coverage here on the MMA Fighting YouTube channel. We just saw Stephen Wonderboy Thompson pick up a fourth-round TKO win over Kevin Holland in the main event of UFC Orlando. It was a corner stoppage right before the fifth round was going to start. Kevin Holland got beat up pretty bad in that fourth round, plus dealing with a hand injury. And in the post-fight interview, they actually gave Kevin Holland a post-fight interview after the fact. He said he hurt the hand early on in the fight in the first round, and that's it. Stephen Thompson back on track. 2-fight losing streak in the rearview mirror, and now Kevin Holland has himself a 2-fight losing streak after losing to Khamzat Chimaev and now Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So I am Mike Heck. That is Casey Leiden, Jose Youngs in Orlando. And this is one of those press conferences, Casey, where I have no idea what the hell is going to happen. We literally have no idea. I would be stunned if Kevin Holland sits in that chair after that fight. I'm sure he's getting transported, but I could be wrong. And who knows? Maybe even Wonderboy. I don't even know what we're gonna do here, but in the meantime, we'll just chit chat until we see what goes down. But Casey, your thoughts on the main event? What we saw: Wonderboy, Kevin Holland, and Big Dan stopping the fight and then restarting the fight in the fourth round. It was just the fourth round was insane for many reasons. But your thoughts on the fight as a whole?
Well, I'm not going as far as DC kept saying as like fight of the year, but it was clearly of a pretty good night of fights. Having the main event in has the best fight of the night and one of the best fights of the year for sure. It was just an extremely entertaining fight without a doubt. Big bummer about the hand injury. It's a legit win by Wonderboy. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. It just sucks that it happened, and it sucks that it happened from a punch. I think Bisping was trying to imply maybe it hurt from a block. Maybe it made it worse. Who knows? But it was the main event, co-main event. It was one of those y'all must have forgot. Two vets in their upper 30s, showing them youngins how it's done. And just a crazy awesome performance from Wonderboy, and even more important for Wonderboy, the perfect opponent to kind of show off how good Wonderboy still can be. So, you wonder, like, if when I think Kevin Holland had, I don't know if you want to call them takedowns, but he had Wonderboy on his butt, and Kevin Holland chose to stand up both those times. Maybe Kevin Holland, he chose, him pushing the entertainment factor of the sport a little too much. Might have, with the hand broken, I don't think it really made a difference, to be honest, but the fight, everything that Kevin Holland did showed off how awesomely entertaining and violent and dangerous and still elite Wonderboy is.
Yeah, and Kevin Holland's not a human being. He can't be. He can't be human because I don't know how he was standing. He got hit with like 3 or 4 like spinning back kicks right to the face and just ate him, and then took just straight up high kicks to the face, ate him, and just kept on fighting. It was just insane. It was an insane performance from Thompson. That left hand he was landing through the first 3 rounds. I mean, it was such a valuable weapon. He was countering beautifully. And I actually thought the big cage, you always talk about differences between main events in the Apex cage and then in an arena cage where you get the bigger one. Clearly, this was an advantage for Wonderboy Thompson because he used like every single freaking inch of that thing and looked sensational doing it.
And before we, I don't want to forget, just big props to, I forgot his name, Kevin Holland's main cornerman, Perez.
Perez, yeah.
Perez, excuse me. Kevin Holland, it's a blessing and a curse. He just doesn't have that button that turns off, which is great for entertainment wise, but you have to have a dependable corner. BJ Penn had that type of chin that you just couldn't knock BJ Penn out. He would take a beating, and it was up to his corner to kind of save him. And thankfully, Bob Perez was there tonight to save Kevin Holland and not go, hey, we got to get that Hail Mary kick or whatever in that 5th round or something. I was hoping Bob Perez would stop it in the 4th round. I scored that 4th round at 10-7. At 10-7. That's how bad I thought that beating was. Just because Kevin Holland didn't kind of fall on the ground like we see some guys. He just doesn't have that button, but he was taking a 10-7 beating, and that is very dangerous to the longevity of Kevin Holland's life and health. So thank you, Bob Perez, for saving your fighter.
Yeah, 4th round stats. Wonderboy in overall strikes 52-13, significant strikes 48-12, and these were all. If we're going to talk significant
strikes, those are yeah. There are levels of significant strikes, and these were all like, holy moly! Those were heels to the head half the time. It was just, it was wild.
Yeah, Wonderboy's numbers are ridiculous. 34-47 in the first round. Holland had a great first round, 49 of 70. And then Thompson, 38 of 67, 43 of 76, and then 48 of 70 in round 4. And Thompson looked fresh, man. That first round, he got stung in that first round. And we were like, uh-oh, this is what I was kind of worried about. I even put, because I was doing the live blog, I was like, is there a chance where Wonderboy looks really good and then just gets caught with something and the fight is over? Could we have like an Anthony Pettis flashback? And I thought maybe, but no, 2 very durable guys. I do go back to that first takedown from Kevin Holland because he shot for it, got it, and then he was just like, all right back up. But Kevin's a man of his word. If he says he's not going to wrestle and keep this fight on the ground, he's going to get up there and entertain fans. And that's why Kevin's becoming, he might even be there, one of those guys like a Derek Lewis and guys like him where rankings and title aspirations and all that stuff, none of it matters. None of it really matters. People just are going to want to watch Kevin Holland fight. And to me, despite Wonderboy really turning it around in rounds 2, 3, and 4, hand injury or not, the stocks of both gentlemen rose in this fight. And that's what you want in this main event, right?
I definitely don't think Kevin Holland's stock went down in the loss. I'll say that. And that's saying a lot. You know, you get finished in a main event, you get beaten senselessly, and somehow your stock doesn't go down. I would absolutely agree with you. And obviously, I mean, I swear, I thought DC was about to, or Bisping was trying to retire Wonderboy during the fight for some reason. There was some point he was like, if Wonderboy left now, this will be the greatest achievement of his life or whatever. But this just showed that Wonderboy still has a lot of fight in him, and he's still a legit top 10 fighter. And I'm very interested I'm very interested more for Wonderboy. Actually, let's start with Kevin Holland. Did you see title a belt around Kevin Holland's waist, or were you waiting for tonight, or did you never really see? You always saw him as just like, well, maybe he'll get the number 1 contender fight, but I mean, did he change in the kind of the long, like the career span of Kevin Holland at welterweight?
No, and I didn't really think he needed it. Like maybe we saw what he did in 2020. He ended 2020 with that win over Jacare, and everybody was like, he could be a win away from fighting for the belt. And there were a lot of people who were screaming, just give him the freaking title shot now without Adesanya. Like, let's just throw him right in there. And he got main event spots with Vettori and Brunson. And had he won either of those fights or both, I mean, he's right there. But you kind of saw a little bit of a chink in his armor. And, the loss to Chimaev, it is what it is. He's a company guy, but to get there, he's still gonna have to fight like Shavkat Rakhmonov. He probably have to fight Colby at some point. Like fights that are gonna be really tough for him and not stylistically pleasant for him, or if we're being honest, some of the fans as well. So yeah, but again, I don't think it matters with a guy like that. He can headline anywhere in the country, throw him in there, like in Orlando, literally anywhere. Anywhere in Florida, anywhere in the United States, you do a fight night card, Kevin Holland can main event against anybody, and it works. You throw him in there with D-Rod, we can finally put that fight together. Both guys are coming off of tough finish losses against veterans, almost like you said, almost y'all must have forgot type performance because D-Rod got beat by Neil Magny and finished by Neil Magny, and then Holland goes out and gets finished by Wonderboy. Take some time, probably both those guys, and then April, May, let's throw those guys in there. We can do a fight night main event with those two dudes, and I'm totally cool with that. Wonderboy, interesting options. I have one that just is so clear to me. It makes all the sense of the world, but what are you thinking? If you had the magic pencil, how are you booking Wonderboy?
Oh, Wonderboy. I'm not sure. Honestly, I like does Shafkat have a fight? Is he still?
Yeah, he's fighting Jeff Neal.
Jeff, no, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe the winner of that. Yeah, it's like I'm really interested. What like, is the UFC going to put Wonderboy on a kind of a? Do they want him on a title? I don't think the UFC wants Wonderboy in the title picture.
I think they. I don't.
That doesn't. Maybe I'm
certainly
wrong.
doesn't hurt him.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt him.
It certainly doesn't hurt him. They gave him the Gilbert Burns fight, thinking he would win it in some way, or if he beat Gilbert Burns, he was fighting for the belt. There's no doubt about it. Of course, then you get chucked in there with Bilal. That's just a really tough matchup for him. He's still a couple of wins away, but I think if you give him the name that I'm thinking right now, it does a lot. Even though he's already fought this guy and beat him, I like the Masvidal fight. Just do that. Yeah.
That makes sense. I just don't believe. I wasn't even gonna go there because that's like talking about John Jones versus Stipe. I just don't believe Masvidal is actually. That's why, like in my mind, but that does make sense. That I know exactly. Both those guys when they fought the first time that was 5 years ago now.
20,
yeah, 20. Like little 5 years ago, November of 2017. And think of where those guys were then and where they are now. Like they're kind of. What was that for Masvidal? That was right. What was that after? That was all pre-Askren stuff, right? That was all way pre-Askren. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he took all the time off because he went on the reality show and his whole like persona changed.
So they met at very different points of their career, very very different points of their career, and I like that. I mean, unless UFC wants to use Wonderboy to build up, honestly, if Shafkat beats Neil, but then I think Shafkat's a little higher, but. Wonderboy's in a good spot in his career. How about that? I think this is the most favorable position he's been, I think, in the matchmaker's office in a long time. So good on Wonderboy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think a lot of people thought like if Wonderboy was going to win, he was going to win a decision, and it was going to be one of those like kind of Wonderboyish decisions where he just starts to pull away, and it's you. Kind of like the Jeff Neal fight. You're like, man, like this guy looked really good, but you don't talk about fight of the year types of things or anything like that. But Wonderboy not only having a performance like that, but actually having a really fun fight on top of that, really entertaining scrap. I think that helps him a lot. And
absolutely.
Almost,
I forgot how entertaining. I forgot how fun Wonderboy can be. Honestly, I just didn't expect this fight to be that entertaining, and I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean I go back to the Luque fight because that fight was a lot of fun. But again, it was very similar to that because I think if that fight had been a 5-round fight, we probably would have saw a similar result. Because Wonderboy started to pull away in that one against a guy like Vicente Luque. So I think just seeing him go out there and have a fun fight, the crowd was into it and the crowd was booing everybody. Like in the main card, they were just finding ways to boo. They were on their feet, they were fired up, and I think that's a good sign. So. I don't know. I don't want Wonderboy at 39. He's going to be 40 by the next time he steps in that octagon. I don't want to see him fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov. I don't want to see him fighting Sean Brady. I want to see him in there just scrapping it up. Like if we're going to let this guy get to it, if the UFC really wants this guy to fight for a belt, like just get one more crack at it. You avoid those guys altogether and throw him in there with Masvidal. Let the chips fall where they may. And either way, who the hell knows? I don't know. I'm not throwing him in there with Pereira's fun. That was the one I wanted after Pereira's last win before they booked this Holland fight. Love that idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's really
can't do it now though. Can't do it now.
No, I mean, but Wonderboy had such a good performance tonight. Like I think he has a couple more losses in him, and still, what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it really depends where how the UFC wants to handle Wonderboy. Like, is he a guy that we're gonna have for like fun fights, or like on the Legends tour a bit, or are they gonna really give him a hard push to a title? Which if he does, he would have to face guys like Shafkat, and I guess.
Or maybe not. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Who knows? Maybe beating a guy like Masvidal it's just the name alone will be big enough for a eventual title shot if he beats someone.
And you know what? There's gonna be a lot of people that are watching this right now. They're gonna hate what I'm about to say, but this is the UFC, ladies and gentlemen. It is very possible if this happens. Let's just say Wonderboy said his hands are hurt. That's my one concern about Wonderboy getting to a title run, is that he just finds his ways. Like in all these fights, he hurts his hands and he's out for a long time. Like this is his only fight this year. He fought twice last year. Who knows? Like hopefully these are just post-fight hand pains and not broken hands. Because if this guy breaks his hands like in every fight and he's out for a while trying to rehab him, get him ready. But if he's ready to come back like March, April, May or something like that, do him in Masvidal. And guess what? If Leon Edwards beats Kamaru Usman and Masvidal gets a win against anybody, you don't think the UFC would book that fight because of the storyline and the three-piece Minnesota? They would book that fight in 5 friggin' seconds. They wouldn't book it now, but if Masvidal fights Wonderboy and beats him, they would absolutely book that fight without hesitation. Without hesitation, that fight's getting made.
Ooh, look at my kick. It's on. You should do a podcast about this.
I know. I hate saying that because it shouldn't be that way, but
this is a business.
That
first.
would happen.
This is a business first.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't throw Masvidal in there now unless like you book Usman. That fight's made. You book this big stadium. It's a big deal. Leon's first title fight. You do it in the UK, and then something happens, and like Usman gets hurt, and you need to fill in on like 3 weeks' notice. You know who the first phone call is going to be. It's got to be to Masvidal. 100%. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I like the Masvidal idea. It could be anybody, but again, we don't know when Wonderboy's going to be able to come back. We don't know what his hand situation is going to look like. We won't know for a few days anyways, if he's even willing to talk about it once he gets MRIs and stuff like that. Who knows? We do have bonuses, though. Fight of the night, no surprise. The main event. Kevin Holland, Stephen Thompson. Performance of the night. Do you know? Did you see this already?
I would assume it has to go to Sergey and I don't know who the other one went to actually. Okay.
It's the easiest pick on the whole card.
Oh,
even
really?
more easy than Sergey, in my opinion.
What am I missing? Delize missed. Did he miss weight? He missed weight, right? Roman Delize?
No, he made weight. No, he made weight. Phil Rowe missed weight.
Oh, it was Phil Rowe missed weight. Sorry, I had that. Okay. Yeah, Delize then.
100%. Yeah.
Sorry, I got that mixed up. That's why I thought it was Delize that missed weight. It was Phil Rowe. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
The calf slicer into ground and pound. That was nasty.
Yeah, that just big. That was it was one of those things. We've seen thousands of fights, never quite seen it finish like that. Like that. So super cool.
It's very rare to see a top 8 fighter in the world in any division actually put in a position where they're completely defenseless. There's nothing Jack Hermanson could do. He was trapped. He was done.
Couldn't roll on either hip. He was just done. And a really good grappler like Delize on his back. And Jack Hermanson is obviously a very good grappler too. But like in that position, you're done. And like I got to watch it again. I'm not even sure exactly how he got into that. Did he break it down? Was that like something to plan, or did he kind of fall into it? Did he say? It kind of like Delize. I didn't hear the post.
It was just if it's on MMA Fighting, you can go watch it. He kind of breaks it down, but he just sort of like fell into it and just he goes, "Oh, I'll just do this," and that's what happened. It was freaking beautiful. Roman Delize, Casey, what a year this guy has had, because we've had a little behind the curtain talk.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's in December. We're getting to the point where we're about to start end of year voting for awards, fight of the year, submission of the year, all that stuff. And we've been having a conversation. Do we do breakout fighter of the year, which my first year at MMA fighting, we did breakout fighter of the year. And this was the most contentious and divisive award that I think I've ever been a part of, ever, because it went to Khamzat Chimaev and not Kevin Holland, and people were pissed. They were pissed. So instead, to not deal with that, we decided to change breakout or breakthrough fighter of the year to rookie of the year. And rookie, there's a lot of good people up for rookie of the year this year. But if we go back to breakout or breakthrough fighter of the year, Roman Dolidze is in that top 5. There's no doubt about it. 3-0, 3 finishes. He is going to be he's going to be in the MMA Fighting Global Rankings at the next cycle. No doubt about it. And come Tuesday, he will be a top 10 middleweight in the world. And this guy came out of nowhere to do it. And he's beaten all good dudes to get there.
I agree. He has been an extremely big breakout fighter, but my bigger breakout fighter is the guy that fought right after him. Mr. Pavlovich. 3 wins this year, all first round KOs. And yeah, it was against, and I think Shamil, he might have been top 10 at the time, but obviously Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa knocking both those gentlemen out in under a minute. Wow.
That's a good pick too. I mean, Pavlovich was ranked all year. He was like 13 or 14 like all year long. Dolidze was like not even.
Well, yeah, that's when we always have the debate, because I thought of Sergey, it's like, oh, okay, tough heavyweight. But now, after tonight's performance, you're like, can this guy beat Ngannou? Like, you're kind of like, gee, you're not saying it out loud, but you're kind of like, oh, you're not gonna be, you won't be surprised now, So that's how scary that gentleman looks right now. He looks extremely dangerous. But yeah, Dolidze, that was shocking. It was shocking.
This is Jose's calling in.
Hey, Jose.
Chiming in. Breakout fighter, Alex Pereira. And let's not.
Well, I thought he might be.
I didn't say Dolidze was going to win, and I don't think Casey said Sergey was going to win. They're in the mix. They would be in the top 5, is what I'm saying. Of course, Alex Pereira wins that. He's going to win Fighter of the Year. He's going to win. He's going to win all the awards this year. Kidding me? He's going to multiple awards. It's going to be the Pereira postseason for sure. But man, Sergey made some dents in this heavyweight division, and if all goes according to plan right now, let's just say, Casey, March 4th, we get the fight we want. We get John Jones back in there to fight Francis Ngannou, and it finally happens.
Curtis
I feel Curtis.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I feel like if it all goes according to plan, I feel like Curtis Blades is the biggest loser tonight. Honestly, I do, because
why he gets to
now
fight
again,
Sergey Pavlovich next,
or Cyril Gane gets to fight Sergey Pavlovich next, which I think is a fight that more people would be more intrigued by.
Cyril Gane is not healthy. Cyril Gane's not healthy.
They ain't fighting tomorrow. Sergey Pavlovich just said he's going to take a bunch of time off. So either way,
nah, that's not true.
It all depends on timing. Cyril Gane just tweeted. Cyril Gane just said, "I'm ready to." Cyril Gane just said, "Hey, I want to fight in March. Let's go. I don't care who it is. Curtis Blades, John Jones, Francis Ngannou. Who gives a shit? Let's go." So if he's ready to fight in March or April, and it's between Pavlovich and Blades, what do we do here? I don't know. I feel like the fans, more people would want to see what a Cyril Gane Sergey Pavlovich fight would look like, more than a Sergey Pavlovich Curtis Blades fight. But I could be wrong.
Just make
but we don't know.
With Sergey Pavlovich.
We could do Francis Ngannou Sergey Pavlovich. There we go.
After all that, we end up with that, which is cool.
All right, there's your fight.
Why not?
I'd watch the hell out of that right now.
Well, fans, you'll watch it. We'll watch Ngannou. I'll watch Ngannou, literally fight an inanimate object. But do you think,
as would most,
yeah, does Pavlovich, even though his dominance is clearly, he's shown it and he deserves a big name, a big rank name, is he big enough fan favorite yet? Does it matter yet, or is it?
Nope. He'll
I don't
just play
think
the
it
bad
matters.
guy again.
Yeah.
I've literally never heard a person cheer for him.
Yep.
And looking at the top
true.
of the top 5, he will get booed against every single one of them. And he's like, whatever, I'm just here to make money.
But is it a good boo or a bad? Like a boo, like is it good heat or bad heat?
It's a boo because that he fought Derek Lewis and tied to Ivasa. Like that's why he got booed. Because it's just 2 fan favorites.
I would say this. I thought the early stoppage against Derek Lewis was so bad that I remember the UFC took his bonus away because the stoppage was so bad. So I was very happy that whoever the ref was in this fight, the stoppage came at the proper time for Tai Tuivasa. Even though he got dropped early and there was a moment they could have stopped it early, I like the ref made sure that the coffin nails were done for this fight.
He has
to guarantee that
Sergey Pavlovich is tied with Jalen Turner and Islam Makhachev for the longest stoppage win streak in the UFC right now.
That's incredible.
So for those wondering what's happening here right now, we are awaiting the arrival of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And looking at this television screen that is on the wall in front of me, I see Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So he's doing the ESPN post-fight show right now. So it could be a few minutes. So if you want to throw some questions up, we'll gladly answer them before we hear from Wonderboy. And he's still in his Venom gear, so we don't know if he's going to change out into a nice fancy suit or whatnot.
Let me see.
What you guys got left? We're literally only waiting on Thompson.
Just waiting on Wonderboy. Pavlovich top 3 heavyweight? Yeah, he definitely could be. That's for sure.
Yeah,
he's in the mix now. He's in the mix.
There's no argument to say yes or no. I mean, he's clearly, if you put him top 3, yeah. With the dominance of his last wins, yeah, absolutely.
It's a 5-horse race now. Yeah. Unfortunately, one guy is going to be sort of left out into the cold in all of this because you'd only pick 4, and one just is going to have to fight somebody behind him. So I don't know. It's just one of those situations where if the phone rings, you got to answer it, and hopefully you're ready to say yes to it. But I don't know. On to the next one's going to be really interesting. For that fight in particular, and then the Mateus Nicolau fight as well, because we have no idea what's happening at flyweight at this point. With the title picture, with everything that happened yesterday, we don't know what's going to happen. So,
hey, can we give ourselves a pat on the back for calling that fight perfectly, the Mateus Nicolau fight? Like when the way that fight happened, it was like, oh, this is exactly how both of us called it.
I think he's getting a finish in the second round. I said submission.
I said knockout first round, but I think we kind of both got it right. But based on, because Matt Schnell is such a aggressive fighter, that it really played into Nicolau's strengths, which sometimes with other fighters can make a kind of a boring fight. But with Matt Schnell, made it a super exciting fight and made Nicolau look freaking awesome. He is an awesome fighter, but sometimes not the most exciting fighter. But Schnell gave him the opportunity to really show off tonight.
And what timing? Because he said that he's now an unemployed fighter. That was the last fight in his deal, bet on himself. What a time to do it.
Yep.
And his services may be required for a pretty big fight over the next few months. So who knows? Like, let's just say Alex Perez had a tough time getting into that octagon. Let's just say worst case scenario, he can't make it to Perth. I think Mateus Nicolau is the first phone call you make to go fight Kai Kara-France. That's like the worst case scenario right now. So if you're him, make sure you get paid, get your new deal, and then just stay ready. Stay ready for something.
All right.
Angie Hill is a badass tonight. What'd you guys think of her wanting Carolina at UFC London? She's better than her record. All right, I'll watch that fight. She looked awesome tonight. I read that fight completely wrong. I thought it was going to be a much more competitive fight. I just saw another bad decision going against her. That's just kind of how I saw it playing out. But you sort of saw it like immediately that Dakota just couldn't get going. And then once Angela Hill spotted that was it. She just pounced all over her and
She just
dominated.
Dakota just never got comfortable for those 15 minutes. She was always on her back foot, just always reacting to Angela Hill. Angela Hill, she's been like, I always gotta make fun of her because she was very like feint, strike, feint, strike, and she finally got that kind of her feint game really timed perfectly, or at least tonight it really works perfectly with against Dakota, and Dakota could just never get any momentum in as far as her offense. And the entire 15 minutes, she was just strictly defending. And Angela Hill is just her volume and her accuracy, and just even the fake takedowns coming over top is like, it was just great. I mean, it was one of her best performances. It was even better than her last performance against Lupi Godinez, who I think the world of Lupi, and I was shocked the way Angie was also the same way. I was like, why isn't Lupi more takedowns and stuff? Angela Hill, she just has her rhythm in there. Is her last two opponents, they just can't get started. Like, because everyone's like, why didn't Lupi just take her down? It's like, well, you can't take her down because Angela Hill was just, you couldn't find her. She's just moving too much. Not like Clay Guida moving, but like she's just like coming in and out. And even with even the threats of takedowns and just the clinching, oh my God, the clinching was just beautiful tonight from Angela Hill. Of all those things, like, I don't know how I do not know how Dakota took like 50 hard knees right to the sternum. It's just incredible toughness. But Angela Hill, man, at 37 years old, looking better than ever. So it was awesome.
Yeah, she wants to fight Carolina. Do it. I'm in.
That makes a lot of sense too. It's just Carolina's a big name coming off a big win. UFC London. Yeah. When is UFC London? When is that? I don't even know when that is.
We think March sometime, but
okay, it's
been
like
formally announced.
A rumored date that they haven't
Second
said publicly
pay-per-view
yet.
in March.
It's pay-per-view. Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're gonna do the title fight on that.
Oh yeah.
If whenever they do it,
It's gonna be
whenever it happens,
Cardiff.
they're gonna do the title fight on it.
It's London or Cardiff.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Mike Heck's favorite subject.
Oh man, yeah, he was awful tonight. he was awful. And let me just say this: I'm kind of pointing him. He's the captain of the ship, so he gets the first. You were really awful tonight, but all the refs are awful tonight. They were all bad. It was an F. It was an F. It was an F from all of them. How many? There was about 15 fence grabs tonight. None of them called. Worst we got was like a guy slapping a hand. There's just so many fouls tonight. None of them were called. No points were taken. We got 800 warnings. They were all awful. Every single one of them. And Big Dan, just really bad. He wasn't good in any fight. And
he stopped that fight, right?
He waved the fight off.
Okay, I thought he imagined that. Okay, I was like, did I imagine that? Like,
no, he waved it off.
Okay.
He waved it off. And honestly, at the time, I'm live. I'm like, and the fight is waved off? And there's even a question mark there. But in hindsight, like, I wouldn't. If Big Dan had stopped it there, it was just like, dude, Kevin, like, you've just taken enough tonight. It's not a horrible stoppage. Like, it really isn't. But that was bad. And then just restarting it, it's golly, man, he was bad. He was really bad tonight. But he wasn't alone.
Yeah.
So bad. He was so bad.
All right. So people keep asking. You are watching the post press conference. It's just no one is here yet, and all we are waiting for is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And I assume, I think we got confirmation, no Dana White tonight.
No, and we knew that wasn't gonna, especially
Yeah,
after
well-
yesterday.
Oh,
We knew there's no
yes.
chance that was happening.
Well, yeah, I figured Dana White wants to clear, clear the air. Just he wants to set the record straight.
Nah, he's gonna be doing a bunch of interviews next week, so I'm sure he'll be asked about it a million times.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out some of the fighters that probably won't get talked about on any of the next couple of shows. Yazid Yurgi, great performance. She's a killer. Francis Marshall, great performance. He looks fantastic. Natan Levy, very solid showing. Post-fight interview. Go check it out on MMA Fighting's YouTube channel. Calls out Kanye West. Calls out all negative people, all of them. Don't do it near him or he's going to come find you. JSP beats up Darren Elkins for 15 minutes. Unfortunately, that was exactly the fight I expected. Hurt my soul to watch it in a lot of ways.
Before we go off,
It was just tough to watch.
Can we talk about Darren Elkins real quick? I know he's like win one, lose one right now in the UFC, but like it got uncomfortable watching Darren Elkins fight, right? Okay, like it wasn't fun.
It was hard to watch.
Fun. Like, oh my god, he's gonna come back. This just felt like, I don't know what, something just felt. It didn't feel right tonight. The way the beating he was taking, and I'm not looking forward to Darren Elkins' next fight, unfortunately, because he will have to fight another tough featherweight in the UFC, and Jonathan Pierce, he's good, but I won't call him in top of the featherweight division, and he's gonna get another tough guy, another tough like all these guys coming in are just gonna be killers, and they're gonna be wanting to make a name off Darren Elkins, and you can make years worth of highlights in one fight punching Darren Elkins. So I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that man. I'm worried about him.
If you listen to the People's Pre-Fight Show, we were asked about some of the veteran names, and I said Michael Johnson was going to win tonight. And damn it, he won tonight. The 30-27, didn't really like that scorecard. I definitely thought Casey won the first round. But the right guy won. Michael Johnson gets it done. Another great post-fight interview. You can check that out on the page. Clay Guida beats Scotty Holtzman. Scott Holtzman retires. We mentioned Angela Hill. Phil Rowe, good performance. I mean, a crazy fight. Unfortunately, he missed weight and then didn't really even address it.
He wasn't asked about it too. I don't think DC really asked.
He was.
About it. Oh, he was. Oh,
we didn't post that interview. But
Oh,
Jose did ask about it.
Oh, in the post, but
Multiple
I thought you meant
times.
in the cage. But you know what?
He said,
it was
what?
a great
What are you
in-cage
talking
promo, though. What about his mom
Well,
and
wait.
everything? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he was.
I
Jose asked about the weight.
About the weight, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like so adamant that I questioned myself. I'm like, "Did he make?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh man, am I wrong?" And then I was like, "No, he definitely missed weight." He goes, "I don't know what you're talking about. What weight?" I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna drop this because it's getting us nowhere. And then
You hit him
terrible.
and you hit him with the theme with the did you walk out to your own song question. He was so happy to be speaking with you.
Yep.
I thought he would have given you anything. Is that Wonderboy? I hear jolliness going on.
Yeah.
But and
There
Eric
we go.
Anders
Yep.
too. Good win for him. There he is. There's the Wonder Boy. Let's hear from him after his big win. Man, he is busted up. But what a win. Let's hear from him right now.
Well, Steven, congratulations on getting back in the win column there with another fight of the night, right? So, physically, how are you feeling after that? We see it on your face, but
Yeah, it doesn't hurt too much right here or like right here, but of course with the win, it's all worth it. Going out there and put on a good show in front of the fans, and I told everybody, you give me a striker, we're going to get fight of the night. And Kevin Holland was up for the grabs, and we put on a good show.
is that the type of fight you expected from Kevin in there? Because even when you would like one of you would hit the canvas, you immediately would step back and say, "No, get back up."
Yeah, man. I mean, it was kind of one of those unwritten rules that we had going into this fight. I know later on in the rounds he was shooting. I know he had a busted hand, but I think I fell down in the first round. He let me back up. He told me in the first round, he's like, "Hey, I'm not taking you down." I'm like, "All right, man. Sounds good to me." So, yeah, it was kind of one of those handshakes we had in the first round. Nobody was going to go down.
Was he telling you to slow down in there at some point?
Man, you got me good. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was fun. He's hilarious.
He was doing a guest scrum in New York, and he said there should be bragging rights between kung fu and karate now. So, is there bragging rights there?
100%, man. I mean, his kung fu style is awesome. I mean, he wouldn't be where he is if he wasn't as skilled. And it was just, we wouldn't have put on a good show if it wasn't for him as well. So I appreciate Kevin.
And the commentary was saying that when you would land a lot,
That helped him with that, you know. I had to close more distance in order to hit him. All he had to do was straighten his arm out, so it landed more flush. So that's why later on in the round I started to use more kicks, going to the body, going to the head, a lot more spin kicks. But I had to be fast. I had to close the gap quick. And one of the reasons why I kept my right side forward. If we were in a closed stance, if I threw my power hand, I would lean right into his power hand. So when I put my right side forward in that open stance, I would throw my left, which led my head away from his power hand, which helped out a lot. He clipped me, I think it was first or second, I'm not sure, when I was up against the cage. And he smoked me good, right in the forehead. But thank goodness I was blessed with a hard head. Thanks, Pops, for that. So
we ran into, this is going to be a weird question, but we ran into Kevin after the ceremonial weigh-ins, and I asked why you guys were covering your chest, and he said you guys were like walking around flicking each other's nipples all week. So what's the story with that?
He was telling me a story in New York City. He flicked somebody's titty, and I guess Kamaru Usman or somebody Kamaru Usman was with got mad at him, and so I thought it was hilarious. So during some of the interviews this week, he flicked my titty. So I told him I was going to get him back. So that's why he covered his boobs up, because I knew I was going to get him back. He knew I was coming for him.
The final question: is it safe to say you're not going to be looking for a wrestler anytime soon?
Man, I mean, if you guys want more fights like that, give me a striker, baby. Give me a striker. So, of course, you know, I'm always looking for the title, and that's always at the top of the list. But why not have some fun fights on the way?
What happened in the third round? It looked like the referee kind of stopped the fight and then changed his mind and put the fight back on. Did you know what was happening there? Was it a low blow? What was going on?
I think, I don't know if it was, I was in close. I think I had him up against the cage, and I threw either a knee or a punch. And I think I might have clipped his cup or got him in the groin, and which is why they stopped it. I think that's what you mean.
Yeah. To the outside perspective, it looked like they had actually stopped the fight, and then he sort of.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that. It's funny. I had to go back and watch because I don't remember a dang thing. Yeah. But I do remember having to stop because of a low blow. Mm-hmm. Not sure if I actually hit him there, but you got to take a break.
Well, do you know when you may have hurt his hand? Because it sort of seemed apparent at the end of the third and fourth round that he was not throwing it anymore, but could you feel a moment where he seemed to wince or anything like that?
Every time I would throw my left leg right to his right arm, I knew he had a really strong right hand, and me and my coaches, Pops and Davini and Carlos Machado, knew that if I threw that back leg to that right arm, it would slow it down a lot. So I kept trying to fire my left leg roundhouse to his back arm over and over and over again to try to slow it down. So that might have something to do with it.
You landed the left straight over and over again. Were you surprised at any point, like, man, this guy can take a punch?
Well, he's so long, and I have to start throwing my left hand at a longer range. So right at the very end, it didn't have as much power as I wanted on it because I had to really close the gap, and he was very long, so he just faded back and kind of evaded a lot of the power. But he was tough, man. I think that's what surprised me the most. He could take some shots and keep on coming.
A few more quick ones. Obviously, you sort of said a couple of things that were exchanged there, but what other stuff was being said in there, and any ones that stand out to you?
Whenever we headbutted each other, he was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Oh no, it's okay. Keep fighting, keep fighting." We had some fun conversations in there. At the very end, he started to shoot. I was like, "Hey, I thought you weren't going to shoot, man." He's like, "I got to do what I got to do."
And last one, can you please expand on getting arrested for skinny dipping?
Oh my gosh, I knew this was coming up. Why did I open my mouth? It was years ago, and some girls were involved, and we went.
That's always the way.
I know. We went skinny dipping and we got caught. So, but I got all that expunged. I got to train some police officers for like several weeks, and it was good. Got expunged, man.
That's wild. Did they catch you because they knew you were coming?
Did they catch me because they knew I was?
Did they set up like a way to catch you? Like with
No.
cameras and
So what happened was like a week before, somebody had vandalized their pool. I've never been to that pool before in my life, and we just got it was just the wrong time. They had put up cameras and stuff, so me and a few others, our naked bods were up on the front pool hall board for the longest with everything blacked out. So yeah, it was. Parents weren't happy about that, but you know.
You live and
you learn, man.
Kevin's management tweeted that right in front. They tweeted that he broke his hand in the first round.
Probably on my head.
On a cross.
Definitely on my noggin. I felt that one. But like I said, you know, that's what he gets for punching me in the head. You know what I mean? No, I got a hard head, and I did feel that. I had to weather the storm. He threw a lot of elbows as well. That kind of staggered me a little bit. But I had to keep moving, and like I said, I got a hard head and weathered the storm and you know, got the W.
Over here, Steven. I noticed like in the fourth, he was kind of like a wounded animal. You know, he had the hand, and it was some points where he would kind of like say something, and you would just go right in. Did you feel like he was kind of delayed a little bit just by the hand and just thinking about it too much?
Well, I staggered him a little bit, and I could tell. I hit him with a few spin hook kicks to the head, roundhouse kicks to the head, some left hands, and I was like, daggum, how is this guy still up? I definitely broke my left hand on his noggin as well. He broke his right, I broke my left. So he was just tough, man. It wasn't giving up. So I just kept focused on, I saw him shake his hand, so I just kept focused on that right hand, just kept going for it with my left leg roundhouse.
Yeah, and the body kicks were just...
Yes. Pops called it. He said, go for the body. Nobody taxes his body. So I kept digging the body with the left leg, and it paid off.
And then the lead leg kicks were killing him too in the fourth. That was just...
Yeah, man. Those lead leg... I knew he was long, and I was watching... I went back and watched the Brazilian Cowboy fight, and he kept throwing low calf kicks on Kevin, and Kevin wasn't too happy about it. So I just kept throwing those outside left calf kicks on the outside. So I worked both sides, but the plan, because I can work both sides, to stay away from, like I said, his right hand, I kept my right side forward pretty much the entire time. I try to throw him off a little bit, switching every now and then, but that dude's tough, man. Golly.
Yeah, you seem like just a step ahead, just with the speed and the technicality of the striking. So I feel like that's what kind of threw him off after a while, because the first round was a banger.
Oh, thanks.
You know, second round was a banger, and then you know you were kind of pulling away towards the end.
I kind of felt after he told me, he was like, "Hey man, slow down." I was like, "Oh, this dude's getting tired." Yeah. He told me to slow down. I was like, "Nah." I said yeah, but I was like, "Nah," in my head. So I knew if I just kept in his face the entire time, he would start to slow down. And I knew I was going to be faster than him. I'm getting faster every day. I mean, I'll be 40 in February. I'm still out there getting it, man. So the only thing I can do is go back and watch this fight. Me and my coaches next week will probably go back and watch and see what we can fix and get better. And we'll ready for next time.
Yeah, man. Beautiful performance, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. All right.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there he is, the Wonder winner, Stephen Thompson, getting it done, stopping Kevin Holland in the fourth round. It was corner stoppage, but what a performance. Got the job done. Well done for the near 40-year-old man. And that's it. So we are done. If you want to hear more about this card, the lights may be out in Orlando, but they ain't out here. We're going to do our post-fight show, and it's mostly going to be your questions because this is going to be Casey and I. Jose is getting the boot. So it's just going to be Casey and I. We'll recap. We'll take your questions. We'll probably just do a Q&A the whole time. I think that's what we're going to do. So, Jose, great job as always. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the live post-fight show in a matter of moments.